Last year, BS 5839 Part 1 2025 arrived, and here are just some of the things that professional fire alarm installers need to know. So 5839 Part 1 2025 has now been published, and as you would expect, there's already been a lot of discussion across the fire industry about what the changes have meant for designers, installers, maintainers, responsible persons, and of course the building owners. So I'm Dan from JKE Fire Security, and in this video I want to give you an overview of some of the key talking points surrounding the latest revision of the standard and what it could mean in practice. Now, before we start, it's important to say that this video is intended as a high-level overview and discussion. The British standard itself should always be consulted for detailed requirements and project-specific guidance. So, why has BS 5839 Part 1 been updated? Now, whenever a standard is revised, it's usually because the industry has learned lessons from when the previous edition was published. And since the 2017 version was released, we've seen changes in building design, technology, fire safety expectations, and unfortunately there's been some significant fire incidents that continue to shape the industry's approach to life safety. So the purpose of this update is to ensure that the standard remains relevant, practical, and aligned with the current best practices. Now, one of the themes that does appear to run through many industry discussions is around clarity. The fire alarm industry has always relied heavily on interpretation. Two competent people can often read the same requirement and reach slightly different conclusions. Many of the updates do appear designed to provide additional clarity and consistency in areas where different interpretations may have existed. So another important area is around the documentation, and as systems become more complex, the importance of good documentation becomes a lot greater. So whether you're designing, commissioning, maintaining, taking over a system, accurate records are essential. But good documentation doesn't just help the next engineer. It helps building owners demonstrate compliance. It supports maintenance activities, and it can be critical during investigations following on from incidents. We're also continuing to see a greater emphasis on understanding the building itself. A fire alarm shouldn't just simply be designed from a drawing. It needs to reflect how the building is actually used, who occupies it, how does evacuation take place, what are the risks, and how has the building changed over time. And this is particularly relevant because many of the issues that we do encounter on site aren't necessarily caused by poor equipment. They're caused by buildings evolving, whilst the fire alarm remains unchanged. Walls move, rooms change purpose, occupancy levels increase, new risks are introduced, yet the fire alarm system isn't always reviewed to reflect those changes. Another area attracting discussion is false alarms. False alarms remain one of the biggest challenges facing the industry. They cause disruption, they reduce confidence in fire alarm systems, they consume resources, and they can create complacency amongst building users. The industry continues to look for ways of reducing unwanted fire alarm activations whilst maintaining the primary objective of protecting life. Technology has also evolved significantly since previous editions. Modern fire alarm systems provide greater intelligence, improved diagnostics, enhanced networking capabilities, and better integration opportunities than ever before. And as a result, standards naturally need to keep pace with those developments. For responsible persons and building owners, one of the most important messages is the publication of a new standard doesn't necessarily mean that every existing system suddenly becomes non-compliant overnight. What it does mean is that future designs, modifications, extensions and other major work should be carefully reviewed against the latest guidance. If you're planning upgrades, refurbishments, extensions, or maybe new installations, then perhaps now is a good time to ensure that your fire alarm provider is working to the latest edition of the standard. For fire alarm professionals, the update is another reminder that continuous learning is essential. The standards evolve, technology evolves, buildings evolve, and our knowledge needs to evolve with them. At JKE Fire Security, we've been reviewing the latest edition and assessing what the changes mean in practical terms for our clients and projects, and factoring them into any works, installation works or design works that we need to do. And over the coming weeks and months, we'll be sharing further guidance and observations as the industry still continues to digest 12 months later the new requirements and develops a clearer understanding of their practical application. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Said it's been over 12 months now, but we're still seeing the old standards being used more and more. So, have you had a chance to review the British Standard 5839 Part 1 2025 yet? Are there any changes that stand out for you? I'd love you to leave a comment below and let's continue the discussion. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more fire safety, compliance and security related content.